Hi, Elise. I am going to see if I can show you how to make a quick card using the birds and branches stamp set. You picked a beautiful card um, stamping set here, but I will tell you it is a little bit, lot of parts and pieces to it, so it may feel like it's a little complicated at first. And I know that you want to do some mass producing and you want to learn to use the Stamparatus and the cutter, so I'm going to include that in this video, and we'll see if we can go through it in a reasonable amount of time, but clear enough so that it makes sense to you. And I'm glad you want to learn how to stamp. That's terrific. So if you want to take out your brand new cutter, and I think that's going to be pretty simple to follow. The sheets, cardstock generally comes in 8.5 by 11 sheets, and I'm going to use the thick white cardstock because it makes a really nice base. It's a little not so flimsy as some of the other white cardstock. That's going to be my base. So you can see, well, let's see, right here where the pointer is at 5.5, which is half of a 11 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. And so we're just going to slide that up. So now we've got room for 2 cards. And what we're going to do where we want to go is at 4.25. And that's where we're going to want to do our, here you go. That's where we're going to want to score it. And I think you also have one of these bone folders. So the best thing to do is just to score it down the middle. And then we fold it. And we don't need this anymore. Press it really good. Now to make the layering effect, I've just made each of these pieces 1/4 of an inch smaller. So we've got a 3-piece layer. Actually, I misjudged that one. Let me try it again. This one should be 3 3/4. Okay. 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, that should work. So we want to use the Stamparatus, and that may seem a little more complicated than you want to do it right now, but let's let me show you what I've done. I've marked off the area where I want to put my cardstock and drew lines around it. You can see where it's going to be. And then I start with scratch paper so I can figure out exactly where I want my pieces to go. So one of them that we want is the branch. You can see that here. And you'll notice that one side is the stamping side and the other is the smooth side. So be sure you get it the right direction. And we'll just lay it and we'll kind of visualize the card and say, well, I think we want it about right there. And then maybe we'll do another branch on this side. And let's see, let's get the words on there too. You probably have a number of words that you can use. This might be a little small, but it can be to a friend, thank you, any number of things. So, and then you see what I've done? I've just pressed that down, and now it is sticking to my plate. See how that goes. So that's going to be my brown. I'm only using 3 colors to make it as simple as possible. And I'm not sure what stamp ink pad colors you have. So I'm going to use brown for the branches. So any brown will do. These are magnets that you'll find with your Stamparatus. It might be fastened on the back side if you haven't found them yet. And I broke mine. It's easy to do because if you get them too close to each other, they really um, attract and stick really hard. So just kind of be careful about that. That's how I broke mine. They're hard to get apart. Okay, so you've got the brown part done. Let's see how that goes on here. Let's see, what I'll do is just ink it up. And the beauty of the Stamparatus is you don't have to worry about putting too much ink on or too little ink on, because you can always redo it and get it a little darker if you want. Okay, so now, where did I put my birds? Oh, here. Okay, so this is a two-step stamping process with the birds, and you can see that it turns out really pretty that way. Here's how it looks with yellow, and I did a bunch. You just try it with all different colors. So, but we're only going to use the blue ink pad, and so I'm going to show you how I'm going to make that go a little farther. So let's put the bird on the branch and just line them up. And again, we're going to stamp down. Okay. Let's tip him up a little. So there he is. I'll do the same with this one. Okay, so what we want to do is make sure that he's sitting on the branch where we want him. So I'm not sure I got that one just right. I think it's pretty close. Okay, now we're going to have to play a little trick here. And I'm going to do, what's going to happen is we're going to stamp this part first, and then we're going to have to slide it down and do the next part. So let's just see how this works. Okay, you see how I'm just inking it up. Now I'm going to go for real here this time. Ink it up. Get my magnets out of the way. There you go. Well, maybe that branch could be a little darker, so I'm just going to ink her up again. You can do this just using your clear blocks, which is fine too. But if you want to make a lot of them, which I know you do, you're going to want to do it this way. Because once you have the stamps lined up on your Stamparatus plates, it goes really quickly. So now I'm doing the blue, but since I'm only going to use one blue, I'm going to do a technique called stamping off. So see, I put a piece of scratch paper down and get some of that ink off so that when I put it on my paper, it'll come on lighter. That way I make my ink pads go farther. See how nice and light that is? Okay. So now for the other tricky part. Since I only have two plates with my Stamparatus, I'm going to bring it down here. I'm going to use this guy and just lay him on top there, because this is what you call a two-step stamp. It's going to give some depth. I'll do the same with this one. And this time, I'm not going to stamp it off. I'm going to clean it up good. Okay, blue. There you go, not too bad. So now to do the leaves, I decided that we're going to do that just using a block. And I'll tell you why. Simply, and I love this. This is a granny apple green. It goes so nicely for spring. And you can kind of fit it right in there. It doesn't have to be too fussy. But I'm going down once, and then I'm going to go again because it makes it look a little fuller. See how that looks? I'll do a little bit over here. Stamp it twice, get that fullness. I think we should put a little around here too. And really, that is our card. And we're going to layer it. Just use glue and layer it. You can do something on the inside as well. And this is how the finished product would look. I keep thinking. So that's it. Simple, simple. And perhaps tomorrow we can do one using the cutter because there's some die cuts that go with this as well. Have fun. Bye.